Welcome back for Season 2 of our Slow Burn Dynasty. I took a little break at the beginning of the year to kind of regroup, reassess, but I'm back. I've got more clarity, more organization, and more time to put into the Dynasty. So I'm really excited for Season 2 and what's to come with this. And I really think this Dynasty can be something that, goes beyond 10 seasons, maybe longer. So as of now, I'm really committed to making that happen. If you have not watched the welcome video, I took some time to put that together to kind of explain what Obscure Victories is about, what the Slow Burn Dynasty is. Make sure you go and check that out so you know what we're about on this channel. This episode is our recruiting, scouting, and strategy episode. But before we recruit, you may have noticed towards the end of last season, I started using a border around the video that I put together, and I just wanted to kind of go over that quick. So I got this idea from a YouTube channel called Playbook Gamer. I believe his name is Al, but he had something similar. I really liked what he did, and I thought I could throw all the important information from my dynasty on a border as well. So during the recruiting, strategy, and scouting episodes, on the left side you see the recruiting board. Those are all the recruits that were targeted. I think all of them. I don't know if it fits 35, but I got as many as I could on there. Then if you go on the bottom left-hand corner, you can kind of see the Lobo logo that I made, the Lobo logo on Canva using AI. So none of that was my doing. It just kind of described what I wanted, and Canva put that together. So that's really nice. But you can see we got 2-star prestige, and our record right now is 0-0. So that's where that information will be. And next to that, you have the Spark Top 5. I thought it'd just be cool to throw up, the top recruits there, maybe stay up to date with them, where they're going and things like that. But that's a Spark Top 5, and maybe I'll add more and kind of cycle through some things. But for right now, that's what we've got. Next to that, you can see we've got team needs, our offensive ones and defensive ones. Again, just kind of help you follow along as I recruit, kind of what I think we need to get. You can see on defense, number 5 is a D-end. I really think we need a D-end with some speed, coming in this class. So that'll be a priority. Next to that, we've got our top players. I just took, as many as I could fit on there. So we got, Craig Swain, Craig James, Doty, Lewis, Blount, Sanders, Dukes, all of our top players there. Next to that, we have red shirts. All the guys who redshirted this year. Then you can see our coaches over in the right-hand corner, and then our offensive and defensive playbooks. In the upper right-hand corner, you can see our rank. Right now, we're ranked 47. Then it goes into the top 10 with Bama, Georgia, Oklahoma, Oregon, Florida State, UNC, USC, Stanford, Clemson, Ohio State. And we play Alabama, Georgia, Oregon, USC, and Clemson. So 5 of the top 10 we're taking on this season. So if we can get to 6-6, we're going to be really happy. Under the top 10, you can see I got user goals. Just want to keep you guys kind of up to date on what I'm focusing on, as I use gaming for growth. My number 1 goal is to throw less than 1 pick in a game. I'm really working on reading coverages, deciphering what coverage they're in, making a decision. Number 2, I want to get more user turnovers on defense. Defense is something that has always been challenging to me. And so I think 1+ user turnover on D is a really big stretch goal for me, but something I want to shoot for. I also want to have 2 or less, I call them wild dives, kind of where I just click on a defender and dive on defense. I think it hurts us quite a bit on defense, and so I'm going to try to limit that. Hopefully many of you can relate, but that's something I struggle with. Number 3, play call variety. If you watch the games from last season, it's a lot of read option, a lot of dive, and then a lot of the circle play out of spread and shotgun ace. I'm going to try not to rely on those so much, but again, that competitiveness kind of jumps in, and you just want to do what you can to win. But I'm going to try to vary it up, get more play action. I want to take more deep shots, run more sweep and stretch plays, more screens, and maybe have the offensive coordinator call plays on third down. So we'll see how that goes. Then under that, we got our season mantra, kind of the theme for our season. It's things don't get easier, we get better at doing difficult things. So I think for me, there's a tendency to say, hey, we went 7-6. Now things should be easier. But the sliders are going to get tougher. We've got 5 of the top 10 teams on our schedule this year. And so it's not going to get easier. But me and my little AI roster are going to get better at doing difficult things. So that's our mantra for the season. Then up top, you got our schedule through week 9, and that will kind of just shift down as the weeks go here. But week 1, we got Nevada, then we got Oregon, Georgia, Clemson, Arizona. Then we got New Mexico State / Coastal Carolina. We got a bye in week 7, which is a good time for us to get a bye. Week 8, we're taking on USC. Week 9, we got Miami. Then you can't see it up top there, but then week 10, we got Alabama. Week 11, Northwestern. Week 12, Oklahoma. Week 13, UCLA. And then week 14 is another bye. But again, that schedule will kind of shift down as we get to week 10. That schedule will shift down and we won't see week 1. And then kind of cycling with this, I really want to get my kind of things I keep in mind as I play. So this next one here you're seeing in the bottom right in the blue is just kind of the mental prep. I think as we head into any competition, it's important that we prepare ourselves for the challenges we're going to face and the things that could happen so we're better prepared to respond to them. So I've just got some things on there that are good reminders for me as I play. So number 1, the computer is going to benefit from 1 or more unlikely plays, right? And it's maybe going to be more, right? Those plays where you're just like, well, how did that even happen? You think the game is rigged against you, but that kind of thinking is not beneficial. So you just got to remind yourself, yep, that happens. Games are not perfect, and even things like that happen in real games. The second one is a quarterback may make an errant throw that leads to a pick. Right? We saw it plenty of times last year where the throw's not even close to where I wanted it to go, goes right to a defender, and all of a sudden a good decision turned into an interception. So we got to be able to handle that. Number 3, the other team is going to score, right? And probably easily at some point in the game. I feel like after playing this game for so long, I figured out that sometimes the computer is just going to score, right? They're going to pass their way down the field, and it's going to happen quickly sometimes. So you just got to stay consistent with what you're doing, right? Be in your coverage, right? Or be in your responsibility, and let the rest kind of happen. Number 4, I'm going to make a bad play call or a decision, right? But I'm also going to make a lot of good ones. So we just got to understand that's going to happen and then move on. Number 5, play the long game. Breaks are going to go our way. I think sometimes for me, you get stuck thinking, oh, this team is dominating. I've turned it over 5 times. I think a perfect example was a Cincinnati game from last season, right? We turned it over, I think, 4 or 5 times and still had a chance to kind of get back in that game. So I got to remind myself to play the long game. Next one, blowing out a team is not likely. I think I tend to struggle when I head into games thinking, oh, this is going to be a blowout, or I should be able to blow this team out. With the sliders the way they are, it's just not going to happen that often. So I think thinking that can get you frustrated faster than you normally would. And then last one, easy isn't the goal. Engaged effort is the goal. So again, if I head in thinking, hey, this should be easy, I should just turn on the camera and go win a game and look good in front of everybody, that's not the goal. The goal is just to be engaged, make decisions, handle some of the pressure, and then learn from mistakes. So those are some things that I keep in mind, but I'd love to hear what you keep in mind as you play. Drop them in the comments below. Something that you think will help me, help others, whatever it is. So that's our border as it is now. You'll kind of see that rotating through the recruiting episodes. The end game one, which I'll kind of show here quick. This one will be popped up. This is from last year's bowl game. But again, you can see kind of the key players on the left, offense and defense for both teams, the playbooks for the opponent, the recruiting commits we have. In the top right, you can see that slow burn dynasty with the fire. Our national rank is there, our recruiting rank, our home field advantage rank. Then we've got our playbooks, our offensive and defensive audibles. We have the events that the event wheel gave us, and then injuries. And then down on the bottom is keys to the game. So again, all information I think is important to know as you're maybe watching the game or as I'm playing the game. I've got these things written down for me so I remember as well. But that is our in-game border. So I'd love to hear from you about what you think should be on it. Are the right things on there? Is there something that's more of a priority that's not on there right now? Maybe what your season mantra would be or what your gaming mantra is. Some of the mental prep that you do, some of the goals that you have as you play, whatever it is. Drop it in the comments below and let's start talking about it. All right, now that the border is explained, hopefully you guys are excited about that as I am. When I saw that from the Playbook Gamer, I instantly knew I had to use it, and I love how it looks on the videos. So hopefully you guys are enjoying that as well. All right, next, before we head to recruiting, our game of the week is going to be Ole Miss versus Oregon. You guys noticed I've kind of put those in. I didn't mention anything about it. So one thing I want to do this season and moving forward is mention who the game of the week is, and then maybe edit in some of the highlights and then checking in, so it's not just a cut to in silence, but we'll see how that plays out. We'll see how much time I get to do all this. Next thing I want to do, depth chart wise, as I kind of went through our roster and our depth chart, I looked at our receivers, and Alex Sanders, being a 79 speed, 77 acceleration, I just don't think he's suited for working on the outside. So I'm going to switch him and Williams. I like Williams' speed on the outside. I think if Williams breaks a press coverage, he's more likely to burn the guy deep. We saw with Adam Williams last year, once he beat a guy off of press coverage, he wasn't able to accelerate past him. And I think I threw 2 picks, with that because I forgot about his speed. So we're going to go Blount as number 1, Williams 2, Sanders 3. I don't mind having Mike Wells 4. I think he can work out of the slot a little bit. Be nice to get him the ball. And then Cobbs at 5. All right, with that taken care of, let's head into recruiting. So the first thing I want to do is just kind of identify our top priority guys. I think I think we can go after 10 or 11 guys and get points on them. So I'm going to take a little bit of time here, go through all of the recruits and just kind of prioritize who we want to really target based on needs. And I'll show you guys when I'm done. All right, so for my first iteration of who we're going to target here, I got Clint Johnson, middle linebacker, JUCO. Again, I think we just need more speed on the field, and again, hopefully he gives us that with his B speed. Hopefully his acceleration can go up, but trying to fill the spots with some JUCO guys as we let other guys develop here. So Clint will get a scholarship in 500. John Muse is somebody I hope can jump up, to 78, 76, something like that. He's going to get 500 and a scholarship, and he's our 3-star JUCO. Again, just one 3-star JUCO because I think they're more likely to jump up. I don't know if that's proven or not, because Clint Johnson could very well do that, but he's 2 stars. But for guideline reasons, we're going to keep it as is. Then we got Marcus Bridges, cornerback is a big need of ours. We got Chad James leaving this year. So Marcus Bridges is going to come in. Hopefully he gets 500 and a scholarship. Sean Maxwell was a 4-star guy that was interested in us at 72 overall. Just too good to pass up. I think even if Justin Bryant does well and progresses, I think he only gets to 71. He could maybe get to 72, but Sean would be there to kind of push him. And I don't think Bryant would transfer because he'll be a sophomore, and then Sean Maxwell will be a freshman. but he could because Sean is coming in with a higher overall. I'm not sure exactly how that works out, but Sean is just too good to pass up. Next, we got athlete Willie Goodman. Really excited that this guy was available and within our region. 65 overall athlete, good speed, acceleration. You can see his play rec is average, tackles up there, hit power's up there, zone coverage is average, and so his man coverage is D and press is D. So I'm thinking he could be somewhere in the defensive backfield, which we need at safety and at corner. So he gets 500 in a scholarship. Billy White looks like a really good tackle that's interested in us. He's going to get 500 and a scholarship. But just looking at his grades, he grades out pretty well for what we know. And at 69 overall, I think even if he drops, if he's a bust and he goes to 64, that's still pretty good for us. Then we got middle linebacker John Charles. Again, just trying to get more speed at the linebacker position. Two guys we brought in last year didn't really fill that, and so just trying to get that in this class. So John Charles gets 500 and a scholarship. Matt Jones and Sean Johnson, two corners we're really interested in. Matt Jones had us on his board initially. Again, just looks like a solid defender, solid defensive back. He's got good zone coverage, man coverage, and speed. So somebody I think could really step in and help us. And you see Sean Johnson, a lot of the same, 65 overall, good coverage, good speed. He's gonna get 500 and a scholarship as well. So within the top 10, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 defensive backs. Again, I don't want to have a year where we miss having a good defensive backfield. So we got to start building it now. Richard Hancock is the top recruit in New Mexico. He's going to get 500 and a scholarship. I think offensive line, I'd like to sign 2 to 3 these first couple years so we can kind of bolster that offensive line. But here's James Christian. Again, average blocking across the board, good acceleration, starting at 65 overall. We can only get 50 on him. I'm actually going to offer him a scholarship instead of giving points. So we can get 10 guys, all with scholarships. But next week, we'll free up 500 more points. And so we can get some on these guys here. Again, the hope is that a lot of these guys, that may be a big hope, but a lot of these guys, we end up moving up their board without putting any points on them. So we'll see how that goes. So that is it for recruiting. Again, looks like a solid recruiting board for us. I think we're going to fill some gaps. And as the season goes, hopefully these guys we go after, we can pull away with, sign them early, and then get on some more guys. Let's move on to scouting. All right, let's start with our coaches here. Eric Evans is in his first year at Nevada. Playbook-wise, offensively, they're going to run the spread offense. They're going to run slightly more than they pass. Aggressive, conservative. And I think that's, if they're conservative, it's more screen games on 3rd down and long or 2nd and long. And if they're aggressive, it's going to be more 4 verticals on 2nd and 3rd and long. So they're going to be slightly more conservative. So more draws, more screens than deep shots. And they're not going to go no huddle. Defensively, they got a 4-3 playbook. Defending the run and the pass is going to be about equal. And they're going to be slightly more aggressive than conservative. So we got to be ready for some blitzes. All right, coach level wise, Eric Evans is a level 12, but he doesn't have any of the in-game skills, which is good for us. No timeouts, no starting off hot in rivalry games, no coach Radamas, so that's good. Defensive coordinator is Scott Schaefer. He's got quite a bit of bonuses for his players, so we have to be aware of that. They're going to be playing better than they are. And then offensively, Marcus Maxwell's a level 5. He just has the carrying and the stamina. So offensively, they're going to be as is. All right, let's head over and scout some players. All right, we're going to start with our top defensive players. You can see defensive tackle Robert Neal, 88 overall. Got good speed and acceleration for D tackle. Strength is about average, tackle is average, but then his power moves, finesse moves, and block shedding are all up there, as well as pursuit and hit power. So he's going to be a force in the middle. Next, you might recognize this name. This is Justin Andrews. He is the cornerback that transferred out because we did not get to 8 wins. He thought he was being underutilized. Goes over to Nevada, our rival. They put him at free safety. He jumps to 87 overall. Good speed, good acceleration, good awareness, man coverage, zone coverage, play rec is all up there, as well as catching, good pursuit, good press. And the biggest thing is that he knows our offense. And so he's going to help get all the guys in the right spots. He's going to understand what we want to do. He knows our mentality. So he's going to help their defense tremendously. Next, we got left end Trent Scott, 84 overall. Good speed, acceleration off the edge, good strength, good tackle, power moves are up there, good finesse, good block shedding, great pursuit and hit power. So somebody we got to be aware of off their left side. And then lastly, we got middle linebacker Chris Young, 83 overall. Good speed and acceleration. He's going to be flying around. He can tackle. Play rec is up there. Block shedding's up there. Pursuit. Zone coverage, man coverage. Good enough for a linebacker. He's got some hit power. And then he's got strength, some power moves, finesse moves. So as he rushes the quarterback, he could be used as maybe a fifth rusher for them. So we got to be aware of that. All right, offensively, the top offensive player is left guard Clayton Poe, redshirt senior, 85 overall. Good speed, great acceleration, awareness is up there, great pass blocking, good enough run blocking and impact blocking as well. So as we blitz on pass downs, we maybe want to come from their right side. Next we got tight end Brian Rice, 83 overall, not too terribly fast, good awareness, good catching, good route running. He's definitely going to be a blocking tight end with 83 on both pass and run. He can catch well enough, but he's going to be utilized in the blocking game, probably more so. Next, we have their backup tight end at 82 overall, Adrian Medley. Again, not the fastest, a little bit faster maybe a little bit better at catching, and not as good at blocking, but maybe a more balanced tight end. He's definitely got some good size at 6'7". He's got good enough strength. He can break some tackles. So both are tight ends. You're going to have to be aware of where they're at, and they're going to bolster that offensive line as well as the passing game. Lastly, on offense, they got Myron McDonald, redshirt senior, wide receiver, 80 overall. Again, not the fastest guy, but you look at his catching, his route running, catching traffic, all really good. Spec catch isn't up there as much as you'd like to see, but he can catch, he can run routes well, and he can catch through traffic. So definitely somebody we got to keep an eye on the outside. All right, let's see if we can find some weak spots, anything we can kind of attack or exploit. Their quarterbacks, not super mobile, not mobile at all. Actually, none of them, hit the 60 speed mark. Looks like John Graves is going to be their starter. He's got good enough throw power and accuracy. Running back is redshirt sophomore Joe Dickerson, 77 overall. He's got good speed. Acceleration is a little bit low, but 77 is definitely good enough to do some damage against our defense. Fullback looks decent at 78 overall, although I'm not sure that many teams use fullbacks. There's Myron McDonald. Number 2 receiver, Marcus Green, looks like he's a little bit faster. 76 overall, so his catching is probably a little bit lower. But I do like the matchup of these two versus Chad James and Cornelius Houston. I think Chad James is 88. I think Houston is a 74. And so that'll be a good battle. And even I think number 3, Graham Condors at 75. We've got Albert Lemon at 72. So it's going to be a good matchup with their wideouts and our cornerbacks. Tight ends we saw, they're strong. Left tackle looks good enough at 78. Left guard looks strong. We saw Clayton Poe. Center at 77, I think is something we could take advantage of. We've got Swain at D tackle at 88 overall. So I think this is somewhere, I think we've got to consistently win this matchup, disrupt the backfield, whether it's a pass or a run. Swain has got to be ready to win this matchup. And he will be, being double teamed by Clayton Poe on the left side or Joe Lawrence on the right, who is not as good, but paired with a 77 center, they can take on Swain. And so then we're going to be asking, redshirt freshman Kenny Houston, 69 overall, to do some damage. And hopefully he can take advantage. If they double team Swain too much, hopefully Kenny can get in the backfield. Right tackle is 80 overall. Left end 84 we saw. Here we go, right end at 72 overall. He's going to be matched up with Elliott Smith, one of our more seasoned offensive linemen, at 74 overall. So that'd be a good battle there. but I trust that Elliott can win that battle more times than not. And Andrew doesn't have, the edge rushing speed that we need to be scared of. D tackle, there's Robert Neal. This would be a test right off the bat, for our redshirt junior Bernard Grier at 79 overall. He's gonna have his hands full. Bobby Graham at left guard is gonna have to help out, and Kelly Smith at right guard are gonna have to help out with Robert Neal. So they're kind of structured the same way defensively as us, with their D tackle being their best player. Left outside linebacker impact player is Julius Sanchez, 82 overall. Again, good enough, good acceleration, but definitely somebody that could do some damage against us. There's Chris Young, again, good speed, good acceleration. And then you see Robert Jackson right behind him is basically identical. So the linebacker group looks solid. There's Dominic Alston at 80 overall. Not as fast, but that means that his tackling is going to be a little bit better. And at cornerback, at first glance, looks like this is somewhere we could really take advantage of. Adam Webster at 71 overall. And we've got Alex Sanders at 83, Joe Blount at 79, Brandon Williams at 73, Josh Cobbs at 75 are all better ranked than Adam Webster, although sometimes that ranking doesn't matter. But feeling confident about our matchups with our wideouts against their corners. It is a young defensive backfield there, so this has got to be the year we can take advantage of it. Free safety, there's Justin Andrews. Behind him is Doug Jefferson. Okay, so strong safety, 63 overall. A freshman, would love to be able to attack him. So this is where the play calling, maybe a little bit of the risk-taking, play calling, taking deep shots comes into play. We'd really like to get him mixed up, take advantage of his low awareness, low athleticism, and just low experience, and see if we can't get some big plays past him. The kickers look just average, 70, 72. Let's check kick power quick. So kick power is low, much like we thought, 72, 74. So field goal range, I wish I knew what that equated to. Maybe I'll have to look that up. But they're not going to be going for any long field goals in this matchup. Returner is going to be Edmonds. I think that's their backup free safety. Punt returner as well. And then their long snapper is Clayton Poe. All right, so game plan strategy here. Play action, going to be used sparingly. I'm going to try to use more of it. Again, I want to maybe get 1 to 2 as I play, so 1 to 2 in the second half. But I'm just not super confident in it yet, but I'd like to mix it in more. Run advantage, I don't think we have. I think their defensive tackle is a big concern for ours, and we really got to take care of him, as well as their left end coming off the edge. Passing advantage, I think we do. And you look at the matchup of our wide receivers versus their corners. All of our guys are rated higher. Doesn't always equate to wins and things like that, but I'm feeling pretty good about our chances to pass. We'll still use some 6-man protection. Again, with their D tackle and their left end, I just feel more comfortable keeping a running back in, keeping a tight end in at times. Defensively, I think we can go man coverage. I don't think their wide receivers outranked our cornerbacks that much. And again, their top guy is only 83 speed. So maybe if I'm paying attention and catching things, maybe we shift the coverage, to their speed guy's side so he doesn't beat us deep. I trust our corners to catch up to, I think it's Myron, the number 1 guy with 83 speed. Zone coverage, yes. Again, I think I'm still going to live in zone coverage for most of the season, if not most of the Dynasty. And then we'll blitz out of man and zone, mostly zone. But again, there's going to be times where a man blitz is just what we need. And defensively, I don't think we have the run advantage. I do like Swain in there. I just don't think we have enough matchups that we like, that we think we can, consistently win. So I don't think we have it. Passing advantage defensively. Passing advantage, I think, is a wash. I think the matchups are just too close to call. So hopefully our guys can hold their own and, again, win more consistently than Nevada's guys. All right, we are done scouting. Let's move on. Let's bring the event wheel up and see what's happening with our team this week. All right, so our first event is Armageddon, which means Nate Wilson will lose -2 to his throw power, throw accuracy, and awareness. So not a good start to the season for Nate Wilson. All right, next we've got precision. So our receivers are going to get +5 to their route and release. So that's going to help us route up the defenders and also get off their press coverage. So that's going to be huge for our receivers. All right, last thing I want to do is just check out the rivalry game, the game preview here. Look at that, pretty evenly matched. Kind of as we saw as we looked at the rosters. C pluses overall, C plus offense. Our defense is just slightly better than theirs. So it should be a good game. It's a rivalry game. Teams are equally matched. I'm really looking forward to it. I really love starting the season with rivalry games, with ranked games. And I think most of the games on our schedule are going to be really intense games. Again, the sliders have been adjusted. I did adjust the passing accuracy up to 10 just because I thought at 5 it just wasn't realistic enough. So we're going to play around with 10. And as I've played other dynasties with it on 10, you miss a lot of the deep shots early on, but the short routes aren't, wildly missed. So we're going to use 10 for now and see how it goes. All right, that is going to do it for our recruiting, scouting, and strategy episode. Thank you for tuning in, and be sure to tune into the next video where we take on Nevada in a rivalry game, week 1, season 2. I'm excited to get this season going. So until the next episode, keep gaming, keep growing, and keep celebrating those obscure victories. Game on.